This episode is brought to you by AV RoomService, specializing in acoustic design services and products to optimize the performance of your room and equipment experience. Visit us at avroomservice.com or book a call to speak with me to see how I can help you get the most out of your room and gear. AV RoomService, the science of perfected sound. Check 1 2 3. Check 1 2 3. Welcome to another episode of Mic Check. I'm Norman Varney. In this episode, I interviewed Charles Kirmuss, who, among many things, manufactures the best and by no means the most expensive vinyl restoration device there is. I have over 5,000 LPs myself, and I've tried many systems over the decades. My research found that the Kirmuss Ultrasonic system is the best there is. Let it be known that I became a Kirmuss audio dealer several years ago. Those who watch this video and would like a 10% discount off Kirmuss vinyl products during the summer of 2025, please contact me at media@avroomservice.com. This last June 2025 at the show in Costa Mesa, I sat down before show hours with Charles Kirmuss. Okay, we're here with Charles Kirmuss at, what are we at? We're at the Southern California, the show.
Yep.
In Costa Mesa.
Yep.
Orange County, Long Beach, California, Southern California.
You got it. Yeah, we're here. We're in La La Land.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Hi, guys.
We tend to do a lot of shows.
Yeah.
So it's hard to remember where we're at.
Yeah. I get to see more of Norm and J.R. Beauclair than I do my missus at home. Because we're always following each other.
Good.
That isn't good. But actually can't get in trouble because I'm not at home. So I get in trouble with this character right here. Yeah.
Well, we try to do things right, you know. So yeah, we tend to do a lot of shows together, and we are more of the I guess you would say technical side of things and scientific side of things, and really that's what this interview is about. It should be a fun conversation, but I want it to be technical. I want to find out or have you describe what you do and also how you got into this business.
One of the things that you guys watching, if you know Norm or if you don't, both Norm, myself, and JR, we're the disruptors in this industry because we have been proving by scientific methods, by simple methods that you at home can do and replicate to validate what we're promoting.
Right.
And we're promoting not really the products. The products speak for themselves. We're promoting you to have better enjoyment out of your current investment in your system. And it doesn't matter whether it's high end, middle end, or low end. All of the three techniques that our three individual companies offer, in fact, give you the best bang for your existing dollar.
I totally concur with that. The three of us offer products and or services that are very inexpensive compared to what's around us, and really the best bang for the buck, the most important, you know. And so I know a little biased, but I totally believe that. So yes, and that's hence why we're talking about record restoration, which is primarily what you do.
Right.
But how did you get into this?
Well, I'm just like JR. I'm also just like you. I love music.
Right.
In 1964, I built my first tube amplifier when I was 56 to 66. So that's 12 years old, okay?
10.
Yeah, 10.
10.
I built my first tube amplifier. I was a nerd in school. I was the only student that I know of anywhere in the province of Quebec. I was born and raised in Montreal, where after 2 weeks, Mr. Kowalski, my gym teacher, went to see Mrs. Schultz, the principal, and Charles has to get out of phys ed. We will give him 68% for all 5 years in high school. Give him the keys to the projectionist room, and he will take care of all of your film strip machines, your slide projectors, all of that.
Sounds like me in 7th grade.
And I was very happy with that.
Yeah.
It's the only grade I had that was less than 99% or 98% in 5 years of high school. And in those days, it was minus 40 degrees Celsius or minus 40 Fahrenheit in Montreal back in 71 to 74, 75. My classmates were in shorts outside in the snow playing soccer.
Wow.
While I had an office with a couch and a beautiful, nice coffee maker. So that was my high school.
There you go.
So I built a radio station. So we had the student council have radio programs.
Oh, wow.
And during high school, I actually worked audio stores. So for you at home, I'm not this brashy guy that says I know everything. I learn every day something, whether listening even Norm or other people, that I love audio. And I had the chance to work with companies like Quad. So a typical Friday for me growing up was get home from school, go with my friend Robert Kachuga, who I met for the first time in 40 years at the Montreal show last month or so. He had recognized me. I recognized him. He's an MIT rocket scientist, literally. And we went to audio store. We went to Heathkit. You guys know Heathkit? We went to Heathkit. You built electronic kits. From Heathkit, we walked over to an audio store called Ultrasonic, which is actually partially owned by Daniel Jacques, who sponsors Ambisson. Okay? So I go to that store, and I see Paul, who's now the owner's son, running the store. Then I went down to Audio Center. I then worked at Bill Layton Audio in Montreal. They brought in radio, FM, and black and white and color TV. Very old company. They're still around. The owners have changed now. And I worked the audio shop where I earned all of my equipment that I have now at home. All my Macintosh equipment is all vintage 71. And my tape decks and whatever, I earned my Nakamichi and Akai 747 from Bill Layton. I was paid in equipment. So that's where this audio interest came in.
Yeah.
And if you're using your cell phone, well, you know, there's a little Kirmuss in there when it deals with text messaging and SMS messaging on analog channels, which never existed, and sending pictures over cellular on analog. There's a little Kirmuss in there. So every time you use your cell phone, you can think of me. And the way I got into this business, where I worked on, you know, radio communications equipment, I have patents in digital video recording and audio recording dating back to '89 for the surveillance industry, not for audio.
I know you have your fingers in many industries.
I wish I had one because I'd be rich and famous. Now I'm poor and infamous.
Well, let's talk about record restoration.
Okay, so how I got into this was I'm the speaker at the Hong Kong Electronics Show in Hong Kong twice a year since 2006, all the way up to COVID. And I help American companies avoid the problems and mishaps that I had in dealing with Chinese companies since 1989. I have an office in China, but I've learned through the School of Hard Knocks of what to do and what not to do. So the folks at Global Sources said, Charles, we'd love you to volunteer and help people out. So I've helped either manufacturers or distributors or dealers globally that got taken advantage of, or teaching them the mistakes I've made so that they don't make the mistakes. So at one of these seminars, a gentleman from the Hong Kong group saw me, and he says, you look like a pretty honest person, and you're sharing your information and all your experiences with an audience. We'd like you to represent the Rogers BBC speakers that they bought from Rogers out of UK. Then they brought it over to China. And the LS35 speakers are considered by Absolute Sound as one of the top 10 bookshelf speakers ever made. And BBC in today's dollars, I don't know how many billions of dollars they made to monitor their transmissions. Their monitor speakers were able to also allow the engineers in the little mobile trucks to hear whether a cartridge had a problem on a turntable, whether microphones had issues. So that's why BBC spent so much money. So here I am, I got the line. I also got the line when I was visiting the high-end show in Taiwan from Lawrence Audio. Their speakers look like instruments, so I have the cellos at home. So I'm in Munich, sitting in my booth, and I'm selling this stuff, separate to my business. Long story short, I see a machine next to me. It was an audio desk, Ultrasonic, so-called, being sold for $8,000. They had a vacuum system, Nessie, next to me, German vacuum machine to clean records. That was another $9,000-10,000. The vacuum machine died, and I said, this is something interesting. It started to say, I have a VPI 16.1 at my home that I got in the 70s that I bought. So I said, well, I got both equipment at great prices, survived United Airlines, ended up in Denver, and we opened it up, and the audio desk wasn't a ultrasonic, now proven with all the testings that I've done for Mr. Fremer in 2017, and the Nessie is a vacuum, and they all leave coatings. So the challenge now is, hey, maybe there's an opportunity here. I use ultrasonics for cleaning my circuit boards. I use ultrasonics at my factory to clean machined aluminum parts and whatever. So let's see if ultrasonics can help. So I had a hot box where I can increase temperature up to, in this case here, 95 degrees Fahrenheit. I can increase humidity to 97%. And I bought a Hall & Oates record, and I bought 6 of them, and we put them all in a machine. So what I did is I said, well, let's measure signal first. I didn't have the microscope yet. So put them in a hot box, measure the signal.
How'd you measure the signal?
I used a spectrum analyzer right here, actually a little more fancier one. This is what I use here at the show.
Which
I make.
Yeah.
So I have this, it's a $350 retail. It allows me to measure cartridge output, so I see signal, and I can see frequency response in bands. So I can basically read the imagery and the soundstage.
Yeah.
So what I did is, after 3 months of aging, took another recording, another snapshot, put it back in the machine, in the hot box. 3 months later, now I used 5 different cleaning processes. The spin clean, the audio desk, the Nessie, the VPI. I used all the technologies that were out there, measured the output, which to my surprise was actually dampened because these systems all left a coating. And then I said, well, how can I now get into a groove? So I went to University of Boulder, library, read about plastics. I was in Denon and Sony in both in Japan and in Taiwan, learned about record production, and then said the only way you can get in the groove is, yes, use an ultrasonic, but the intellectual property, the glorious moment that's made me a poor man, not selling the equipment, but buying all this test equipment, was basically where you need to change the charge of the record to be opposite to that of water to allow the cavitation rise, and when the bubbles collapse, they then pull materials out of the record. You just can't put a record in an ultrasonic, even in mine, does nothing. Yeah, a little surface cleaning, but I cannot remove now the 3 layers. Yeah, I do surface cleaning. And people that use spin clean, which I love, by the way. If you can't afford, a $1,400 machine or less here at the show,
good time.
buy just a spin clean, $99 or $105. Don't use the chemical. It's aggressive to the PVC or the plasticizer. And I'm saying that because the vice president has not answered Mr. Fremer's question and other people's questions on YouTube saying what's actually in there. Just use distilled water. You remove the materials off the surface of the record. Use a 10-micron brush that allows me, the water can't get in the groove because a water droplet is 110, 105 microns in diameter. A record groove is 6 microns on the bottom, 35, 45, 50, 55 microns on the top. It changes, and the middle, it changes with the music. So you can get water in. But with a little mechanical, you're doing some cleaning that will help your needle stay clean.
And you can buy that brush alone from...
Yeah, you buy this brush, but this is to apply the distilled water, and then you use our 10-micron felt to polish the groove, and you're happy. Now, if you want to remove the 3 things that Norm and I and others that love music to hear, basically the stamper, what you do is you'll use basically our process. So we ionize the record. The first level of contamination that we will remove in the first cycle is the coatings and films left over from other cleaning processes, okay? As the record spins, that spray that I applied also to the record with my process, it wears off. So I need to reapply the spray. I change now again the charge of the record, and last year I discovered that most of the scratches on the records are not in the plastic. They are in the outgassing of the plasticizer while the record is in its sleeve for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 70 years. And if someone used a PVC sleeve, it also outgasses. So I didn't invent this idea. If you buy a new car, you smell that new car smell. All the plastics are outgassing. You have the nasty film on the windshield. So that proves my intellectual property. So I like buying old records, and we'll talk about that in a bit. I like buying that from Goodwill, garage sales, because they're the original artists. They're not being remastered or remixed or whatever. Yeah, I'll buy new records from new artists and new songs. And then finally, obviously, we will remove the pressing oil, the release agent. And this is the real disruptor in 2017. I met Mr. Fremer and Mr. Jennings. The pictures are here in the booth here. And where the hell did you come from? I had a white lab coat. The lab coat isn't my friend's Bob Devices. Hi, Bob. Bob has a white lab coat there. Well, I didn't necessarily use it as a sales gimmick or whatever, but some of these records, when we take them out of the sleeve, we have a fungus, a dust that comes out. And when I shared a room with JR at the Tampa show about 4 or 5 years ago, everyone in the room started to sneeze because there was a powder that comes out, and it comes on me, and I restore records all day. So, in essence, by removing now that pressing oil, the release agent that we prove, we remove the ticks and pops that occur when you're playing a brand new record. Because the dust lands on the cooling record at the factories. The factories are very dirty. So that's where the clicks and pops come in.
Yeah.
So now you're playing this. So the validation is not only what basically even what Norm talks about and what JR talks about with their own respective products. These are things that you can test yourself.
Yes, easily.
Your ears will tell you, and you will feel the emotion and the imagery. Yeah, when your cartridge is not aligned properly, Zenith, you change things around.
Yeah.
You hear the difference. The same thing with your isolation and room treatments. You feel it. So, I'm a noisy guy and whatever, and I have a company logo, which is a rabbit and whatever. I enjoy what I do. And I apologize if I come off as, a know-it-all. I'm not. It's all based on science.
You are.
And so there we go. We're on the recording right here. So
it is an emotional change.
Yeah.
Not only can you experience it from that point of view, but here at these shows, Charles, you can see it visually with the spectrum analyzer. He'll do a before and after, and he'll mark where you'll see the recording before the restoration process, and then wearing headphones, you can hear it, but you can also see it visually, the increase in signal to noise. Very effective demonstration.
Yeah.
And I will, at the end of this video, I've got I've hired a couple of different college-age kids to do like hundreds of records at a time. And so I've got that process videoed. And
you have a customer. You have a customer friend that also hired some.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, again, when you're doing 300 at a time, it's a tedious process. It's mundane. You have to be focused. It's you got to pay attention. It's not just a simple round robin. Sometimes a record needs 5 cleanings, not just 3.
Yeah. And once they're done, you don't have to repeat the process again.
Once it's done, you're done.
So I always put this, people like to upgrade. So why should I buy a $20,000 turntable when I'm using a $5,000 turntable if the needle cannot really touch this?
Yeah.
That's what we want. Yeah. The same thing. You want your cartridge to be aligned properly. You want your tone arm to be set correctly. You want to have isolation of turntable, of speakers, sound treatments. All simple little things
that are so important,
very inexpensive to apply.
Yeah.
That now, why should I upgrade?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of manufacturers don't like what I say, but this is an interesting hobby. But we now have young kids coming in. They're starting first with headphones because they have an apartment or in a school dormitory. They don't have a home.
Yeah.
You can't play music loud. And, whether they're playing a turntable or instant gratification, with streamers, that's the new market that we have.
Yeah.
And we can give a more intimate experience to anyone.
A bigger experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Anything else that you want to cover that you haven't covered? Well, and I know there's a lot of detail, and you have a lot of information available on your website.
One of the problems is the reason why also some people particularly like to aim and throw stones at me, lesser to Norm and lesser to JR. But then when JR turned the whole cartridge industry around, people started to take notice.
Yeah.
There are other people that are now posting things that have no skin in the game. They're not selling it. They're not selling my product. They're talking about their experience. So I was in Mexico City about 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and we had 2 shows. We did a Kirmuss restoration with nvinylhifi.com. He's the #1 record guy in Mexico. And then we had that was a Kirmuss event. People brought records in, and he recorded everything. No skin in the game. He's a record reseller.
Yeah.
Then we went to the show in Guadalajara, and we restored records there. And I extended my trip by 1 day for Vinyl Hi-Fi. Why? Charles, there's a guy that absolutely you need to meet. He didn't say who this person was. You need to meet him. I said, what's cooking? He says, this guy says you're full of shit. Absolute full of shit. He says, you're full of it. And, I said, this is intriguing. So I said, okay, fine. We came back from Acapulco. I was there with Julian Margulis and his team. Spent a couple of days there with him. Ended up at 7:30 at this guy's home. The moment I walked in, hi, how are you? Oh, Charles, yeah, I'm going to show you how full of shit you are. He says, I have recorded before cleaning. I have recorded after cleaning. And I've done the playbacks on both an ETI laser turntable made in Japan and a Technics, okay? And optical is the best. Sounds great, and my system works. I said, well, I know how optical things, and we can have another seminar on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But long story short, we then used the Kirmuss process. We did 4 cycles in the machine. We had a colorant in our spray, so that's why it's not a green light or a timer that says the record is ready. What we actually see is every step of the way what we're removing from the record.
Progress.
Yeah. When there's no more white material that is visible, that's the colorant. And the record is virtually dry, we know it's restored.
Yeah.
So we did this. He then played it. He played it on his optical, and then he played it on the needle turntable. The Techniques with the needle sounded better than the optical because it was picking up all the detail that the optical cannot.
And he thought this?
He saw this.
Okay.
And he sent me 4 days later, I will send you the video, his report. And he says, Kirmuss is the real deal, and he happens to be a private collector of 30,000 Mexican records in his home, 2 floors, glass windows with ventilation and temperature management.
Yeah.
And he's the custodian of all records for the Mexican government.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
So he, in his, with no skin in the game,
Yeah.
he sent me that video, and I have it here.
Oh, cool.
And to have someone that is outside of this industry, as now others are saying, the guy does have some merit. Yeah, he's, maybe a little eccentric and whatever. I just love people and I love music.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking down to people. I'm trying to educate. And in our industry, except for the three amigos here, and another gentleman here that I'm sure you'll interview is Bob from Bob's Devices, we're disruptive. We give you inexpensive solutions that give you the best bang for the dollar. And Bob's been doing it a hell of a longer time than me. And I know Norm because I bought some of his sound treatments for one of the CES shows that I had out in the Venetian many moons ago. So I know what Norm's been doing. And here we are. We're all together and enjoying what we do. And hopefully you can get a feel that we're not trying to sell you anything. We're trying to give you the education. The sales come with giving you the end result.
Yeah. Well, and again, what I appreciate is that there's proof of performance. You know, it's not just opinion. There's science behind it. And like you say, it's not just for enjoyment. This is also for archival purposes. You know? So anybody who is, serious about restoring and preserving records, Charles' device is the best that there is, and it's certainly not the most expensive. So again, bang for the buck. It's the best. It's a great value.
Yeah, and I priced it so because I don't believe in the $100,000 turntable and whatever. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's nice to go and touch it and feel it and whatever. It's just like we used to work in electrical power backup systems. Someone that's going to send me a 6-foot AC line cord for $38,000 that gets plugged into your home electrical system is going to do miracles for you. I have a lot of reservations about that.
Well, and I think like the three of us, it's a matter of, you, like I say frequently, it's you've got to address the course, you got to make course adjustments before you can get to the fine tuning. And with all three of us, cartridge setup, record cleaning, and acoustics, if you don't address the elephant in the room, then that investment is and the experience is never going to be optimal.
Yep.
And so these booths are, I think, the most valuable of the show.
And I appreciate where we have some of the show organizers that allow us as the three amigos to put on educational seminars that gives either the audiophile that's been an audiophile for 50 years
or the
new guys to understand what's there.
Yeah.
And the real litmus test is, for me, it's where I can guarantee in writing, among all my peers, I guarantee you the gain out of a cartridge and the increase in frequency, tone, harmonics, and resonance. And that's where music is at.
And removal of distractions.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that you can get a more immersive experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically that's it. What you see is what you get. And, we are disruptive. And it's been now since 2017 where my peers do not do before testing at a show. They have their machine running around and doing something that no one's doing any tests.
Yeah.
And what's the fun part is when people bring records in from home and records that were previously clean, everyone is surprised after restoration. They hear, they see, they feel, they smell, they touch their music for the first time.
Yeah.
And the same thing with your demonstrator, with your jewelry box.
The music box.
The music box.
Yeah.
It's no one else does that.
It's relatable. Yeah. It's very easy to understand.
Yeah.
It's a good little demonstration.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Charles.
Yeah.
Good interview.
Erase the whiteboard or the chalkboard. So what you want to do before playing any record, use a 10 micron brush. A 10 micron brush, not all these other brushes that are larger than the grooves.
Which you can order from Charles.
Yep. It will remove the dust, and you will see that on the felt. A lot of people think that these carbon fibers, they only have these kind of brushes. They are not made to remove dust. They're made to reduce static if there's a grounding, okay? You need to do this, and you will see the materials come out. and then you'll use a lint roller to remove the dust. That's the basic. Second, every 5 or 6 or 7 plays, use a wet stylus cleaner on the tip, not on the cantilever, not on the arm, but just on the tip of the needle, because your needle is, without restoration, touching everything, okay? You're touching everything. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2, if you do have a record, before you play it and it has some fungus on it, it has, a coating on it, gray or whatever, take a lint-free microfiber cloth. We sell them. And the reason why I say this may look like, an AutoZone, rag that you use to dry your car. It isn't. This is lint-free. Just use a moist distilled water rag or cloth to remove the surface materials. Then you use this, okay? So now I want to clean. Buy the Spin Clean. $95, $105. Don't use the chemicals, please. Don't use any chemical on any record unless you know the ingredients and you've compared on Google with the PVC and plasticizer chemical compatibility chart whether that chemical is good or not. Fremer and I agree most of all this is all hocus pocus. So use a Spin Clean with distilled water. Use this brush to move the water around the groove. Then dry with this cloth here. Use an optician's cloth to then remove further any droplets. Then use the 10 micron brush to polish the groove. That's it. And then when you're ready, it's the Kirmuss system to give you the best bang for the dollar.
All right. Thank you.
That's it.
Charles Kirmuss.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Very good, guys. Have a good one.
All right. Till the next one.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. And if you would like to see more, click here or here. And don't forget to go to avroomservice.com to see how we can help you make the most of your listening experience.